The story of the Andes survivors, also known as the Miracle of the Andes, is one of the most extraordinary tales of human endurance, survival, and resilience. It began on October 13, 1972, when a Uruguayan Air Force Fairchild FH-227D plane carrying 45 passengers and crew, including members of the Old Christians Club rugby team, crashed into the Andes Mountains. Here's a detailed account of their harrowing ordeal. The flight, originating from Montevideo, Uruguay, was en route to Santiago, Chile. The passengers were a mix of rugby players, their friends, and family members. As the plane approached the Andes, poor weather and navigation errors led the pilots to misjudge their position. Thinking they had cleared the mountains, they began descending prematurely. The plane struck a mountain peak, tearing off a wing in the tail section, and eventually crashed into a remote and desolate region of the Andes at an altitude of about 3,570 meters, 11,700 feet. Of the 45 people on board, 12 died in the crash or shortly after, and several others were seriously injured. The survivors, many with broken bones and other injuries, faced extreme cold, high altitude, and a lack of food and supplies. The initial hope of quick rescue diminished as days passed without sight of any search teams. They learned through a transistor radio that the search had been called off after 8 days. Stranded in one of the world's most inhospitable environments, the survivors were forced to make unimaginable decisions to stay alive. With no food and only a few pieces of chocolate and wine, they eventually resorted to cannibalism, eating the bodies of those who had perished in the crash. This was a deeply painful and morally challenging decision, but it was the only means to survive in the absence of other food sources. Leadership and determination. Two of the survivors, Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa, emerged as leaders. They decided to embark on a perilous journey to find help. On December 12, 1972, after more than 2 months in the mountains, they set out on a 10-day trek through the treacherous Andes terrain. Enduring severe weather, altitude sickness, and extreme fatigue, they trekked over 38 miles, 61 kilometers, before encountering a Chilean shepherd, Sergio Catalan. Catalan rode on horseback for several hours to alert authorities. On December 20, 1972, helicopters were dispatched to the crash site. Due to the location and the harsh weather conditions, the rescue was carried out in 2 stages over the course of 2 days. 16 of the original 45 passengers were rescued, bringing an end to their 72-day ordeal. The story of the Andes survivors captivated the world. Their experience was later chronicled in the best-selling book Alive by Piers Paul Reed, published in 1974, which was also adapted into a film in 1993. The survivor's story is a powerful testament to human resilience, the will to live, and the extraordinary lengths people can go to in order to survive. The experience left a profound impact on the survivors, who continue to share their story, emphasizing themes of hope, courage, and the power of the human spirit in the face of insurmountable odds.